Hi there, it's Kelly here from Divine Alchemy Healing, and today we're going to talk about looking after your pendulum, how to charge it, how to clear it, and also how to check that it is working optimally. Now, to check it's working optimally, you will need a chart, but you can make them really easily. You just want a chart that is in a semicircle shape that starts at 0 one end and goes all the way to 100 on the other end. You can download free charts off Google. So, and then you just fill in 0, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, so on until you get to 100%. So I always try and keep everything really simple. But let's talk about pendulums. I always use crystal ones. There's lots of different ones out there, and I know some people say, oh, don't use crystals, you know, they pick up energy and you need to clear them. Well, I sort of think that's true of everything. I know crystals do obviously take on energy, but I think, you know, if we think about everything as energy, frequency and vibration, then it doesn't really matter what type of pendulum you're using, it's still going to hold some energy residue. So my simple tips on cleaning a pendulum, whatever sort of pendulum it is first one, I just ask my guides to clear it with divine light. I, as you might know, work with Archangel Metatron a lot, so I always call on him to cleanse it. Another way I keep it clear is after doing a session with it, especially if I'm working for someone else, I will lay it on my Metatron's cube charging plate, and we send out a separate Metatron's cube charging plate with our book, the Divine Alchemy Pendulum Workbook and Chart Set. But you can, again, you know, you can download them off the internet. I also sometimes rest them on some selenite that I have in my healing room, so that's another way of keeping them clean and charging them. And then for checking how effective they actually are, I would use what I call a percentages chart. So in the book we have a percentages chart in there, but if you haven't got the book and you just want to do a quick check, you can download a blank chart from Google and you want the horseshoe shaped one, or the semicircle I should say, not horseshoe. And then you just fill it in at the very bottom on, say, the left hand side, you're going to have 0, and then each section you're going along to 100%. And then I'll demonstrate this in a moment for you. You're just going to ask your higher self to give you a percentage of how effective and what vibration your pendulum is currently working out. So let's go and have a look at a chart, and I'll demonstrate it for you so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. And I'm just going to adjust the camera in a moment so that you can see the chart. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye bye. Okay, so here we are with the energy percentages chart, and I've purposely picked a new pendulum that is still wrapped because this hasn't been charged, nothing's happened to it, I haven't worked with it. And so I was hoping that it might show where it is before we do any work on it. So I'm just putting that together. The other things I meant to say about clearing a pendulum is you can, of course, use a white sage healing stick, smudging stick rather, or white sage spray to clear the energy from your pendulum. It's funny because I was just thinking about it because I've had a little gap because I had a client in between doing the first part and this part, and I personally don't believe that it's the actual pendulum doing the work. I believe you're either working with your unconscious mind or your guides or your higher self. But so a lot of people do think it's the pendulum, so that's why I'm going to do this video. So just as important as making sure your pendulum is clear. You might also want to check your own vibration. So I'm going to use this pendulum first. It's blue sodalite, and it's got quite a long chain on it, so I'm going to wrap it right around my fingers. If you can hear any noise, I'm afraid I've got the dog in the room with me because there's just too much going on outside at the moment, and he's a little bit protective over the house, so he'll often bark at things, but right now he's sort of snuffling around, basically trying to pull my attention away from what I'm doing. So, but let's give a demonstration on the chart. He's just come. I think there might be a treat under the table because he's snuffling around, to see exactly where this pendulum's accuracy and vibration is currently. So as always, I'm just going to ask Metatron to give me a gauge on where this pendulum is currently at in terms of frequency and vibration, just in its natural state as it arrived at my home. So thank you, Metatron, for showing me the energy and frequency and accuracy of this pendulum. So it's gone to quite a definitive 70% there. So I'm going to take it away for a moment. I'm just going to hold it in my hands, and I'm going to ask Metatron to place his light within and around the pendulum. I'm just doing that now. The other way you could do this is, if you've got a chart like this, you can just ask for the pendulum to be wound up to a higher level. But I like to sort of connect with the pendulums I'm working with. I had quite a struggle finding this because most of my pendulums, I'm charging up ones to go out with the book, so I always have a range of ready charged pendulums to go that I just then add in some extra energy from Metatron before we send them out. And obviously my pendulums are kept on charging plates and selenite, etc. So I was thinking, well, I know because I've already tried this, it's going to go straight to 100%, but it's quite good to see that this one started at 70%. So now let's see where it is now that I've asked Metatron to place his energy on it and I've connected with it. So thank you for showing us, Metatron, where this pendulum is now. And as you can see, it's gone to 100%. Sorry if you can't see that. It's always a problem with the angle of the camera on here, but it's gone from 70 to 100. So I would feel very confident using this pendulum now if I wanted to do some work. I'm going to just expand on this and ask where my energy is today as the user of the pendulum, and check that everything's okay on that. Oh, and yes, I'm very pleased to see that it is, but that's something you could also do. And as a demonstration, I'm just going to ask the guides to just show me. So let's go back to 70% a moment. And now if you can demonstrate us increasing the frequency and vibrancy and vibration rather of this pendulum, you'll see it will start moving until it gets to 100%. And again, so that's another thing you can do if you're not all like wanting to work with guides, etc. You know, it's horses for courses, not courses for horses. So that's a very simple thing that you can do just to make sure your pendulum is working accurately. The energy percentage chart, I would say, is probably one of the ones that's really so usable in so many ways, because you can use it to check so many different things, you know, from ranging on to like how much light am I currently being able to hold. You can use it for very basic things like, you know, I did a weight loss series recently, and you could use it to find out where your appetite level is or where your metabolic rate is, and if you wanted to, you could speed up your metabolic rate or you could decrease your appetite. This, you know, you can just use it for so many different questions. Like you could also ask in terms of my recent video, which was about taking self-responsibility, where am I in terms of taking responsibility for my own actions and the causes of those actions. There's hundreds of things you can use it for. So in the Divine Alchemy Healing Pendulum workbook, you will see we've got a whole page of lists of questions that you can use this chart for, as well as all the other charts that are in the book, as well as the protocols that you can use for specific things. There's lots of suggestions within the book as well. Anyway, I hope that's been of help to you. Please do give us a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and we will look forward to speaking to you again, and wishing you a very wonderful day. Lots of love, Kelly. Bye bye.